How we doing, everybody? It is a Sunday. It is February 2nd. Crew Banging Sports Talk. I'm Dommy back again with some college basketball plays. Hope everybody had a good Saturday. It was a crazy Saturday for us, and for a lot of people, it seems. I couldn't believe how many top 25 teams got beat. I believe 11 of them did. I put out 6 plays yesterday, went 3-3. Our boy DJ Big Boss put out a nice parlay with you see who are those 2 teams? I forget. It'll come back to me. It is a Sunday, but oh yeah, Michigan was one side, and I'll remember the other one. He'll pop in the chat and tell us. But anyway, we had a little bit of a profit yesterday on the show, but again, it was a crazy day. I had the UConn. One of the ones I did have was that UConn under 143.5. That game was unbelievable. It was such a slow moving game that in the first half they only scored, I think it was about 45 points total. It was like 24, 26 type, first half. It was crazy. It was so low that even the live betting they had turned off the whole first half and most of the second half because I guess they couldn't figure out what line to put up. I did see a couple live lines in the 120s, but I didn't want to take the chance in trying to middle that because you never know what's going to happen. And good thing I didn't because it was only about 110 points scored in the game total. And then a loss that I did have was on Vanderbilt, had a plus 2.5. They were playing good ball. And they were up 15, 16 points with about 5 minutes left in the first half. And the next thing that happened was they just played terrible ball from the end of that. From that point on, and Vandy ended up losing by like 30 points. So anyway, that's college basketball for you. I just decided to do a live today, put out a couple of plays. I only decided a half hour ago. So, not looking for a million people to join us today, but I just had the itch. We're trying to keep steady. We're putting out these picks. There's our boy Wine Time Sports. What's up, my brother? Hope everything's going good for you. I was thinking about you yesterday because me and you talked the last couple Saturdays about that Texas Tech game and against Houston, and Texas Tech was a great live dog. I don't know why I didn't jump on them. I did have their team total and hit that, and I'll tell you, with about 10 minutes left in that game, I was itching to hit that live button on the that there's going to be an OT because it just had that feeling. But it's just something I don't play. It's just such a coin flip type bet. And it wasn't like I was up a bunch of games already to do that. So I didn't. But you just had a feeling that game was going to OT. Texas Tech again, man, coming by with a nice win. Yeah, they sure do, Wine Time. Eric Jones, what's happening, my man? Yeah, we've been off for a while. We took a little step. I'll be honest with you. For me, I had to take a step back this summer, man. And I don't want to bring up, bad things and stuff, but you guys all know what happened with our boy T. So I kind of threw the whole channel for a loop in a way. But then, me and DJ decided, the best way to honor our boy is to hit the college basketball like he did. And that's why we kept with the name on Saturday's live show. We got next. And then we'll be on every Saturday right through the tournament, myself and DJ Big Boss. Hopefully Wine Time will join us next week. If he's around on a Saturday, we're starting at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Let's get into this. I don't want to stay on too long. We got some games today. 1 o'clock game. The first one I'm sure a lot of people are talking about, and that is the Ohio State-Illinois game. Listen, I think this line is moving in the wrong way. It opened up at 6.5. It went down to 6. I laid away from taking Illinois. I wanted to see if it was going to drop a little more, and it did. It went to 5.5. I truly think the line's going in the wrong way. These are one of those games that there might be a lot of recency bias in this pick for some people who are jamming Ohio State, and this is a good reason why you're jamming Ohio State. They're on a 3-game win streak. They did lose 2 out of 3 on the road. They had a really nice win against Purdue. But to me, it's just a letdown spot going into Illinois, where Illinois, a team who has not been playing good, a team who, statistically and on paper does look better than Ohio State in a couple different categories that I'll mention. But Illinois is off of a couple bad losses. They're off that loss in OT to Nebraska. In Nebraska, that was just crazy. And a Nebraska team that broke a record. I think they lost the last six before that, or whatever it was. So, DJ Big Boss, what was your parlay yesterday? Of course, my brain forgot which one you put out yesterday. But I was mentioning that we did hit that yesterday. I know one side was Michigan. But anyhow, getting back to this pick, I went with, the Big Ten, big game in the Big Ten. Like I say, Ohio State's been playing good, but there's a couple discrepancies that I found in this game. One that I thought about was, if you look around like the offensive and defensive efficiency numbers, Illinois, leads in those categories. Pace wise, Ohio State's about in the middle in pace and tempo. I think it was around 170s or something. Was there 364 teams? Oh, that's right, Auburn. How could I forget Auburn? How could I forget, right? And that Michigan game, I don't know if it would have covered. So that money line pick was a good one. But anyhow, the discrepancies. Ohio State is about mid pace, about in tempo. Illinois plays a faster tempo. Illinois, what I like is that they're holding teams to 44% shooting the 2-point, and that's Ohio State's game. They shoot the 2-point. They aren't really good at the 3-point, and that's something again that Illinois defends against pretty good against the 3-point. Justin, what's up, my brother? Justin, man, miss you, brother. How you been? We like I was talking about before, we haven't really been on that much. But we're back again, and we'll be on a lot going right through the college basketball season, and of course into Major League Baseball. It's what I love the most, and we'll be hitting that big time this year. I'll even be hitting that before the season starts with some preliminary, things about some teams, and we'll get a couple shows going during spring training to get everybody ready for a big basketball season, big MLB season. Yeah, Justin, we are glad to see a part of the Hoop Banging family. Always, Justin, giving us that support, like Wine Time, like Eric. You guys, we really appreciate it. We could use the help, I'll be honest with you. But anyhow, let me stop rambling and gambling. Let me stop rambling and start gambling. Listen, this game opened at 6.5. I took it at 5.5 minus 115. I believe I took that one on Bet Rivers. So I've been using Bet Rivers and Bet Online lately a lot. Mostly I use my Bet Online during MLB season. I'll tell you guys, they got some good lines during baseball. You got to keep that in mind. I know it's an offshore, but I really, I like the way they do that baseball, and I'm getting some noticeably decent lines on that site. So keep that in mind. We know affiliate or nothing. I'm just putting that out, But Illinois, I took today minus 5.5. I also threw them in a parlay. The parlay wasn't a good value at all, but I took it anyhow. I took it with Oregon's money line tonight. So they were both in the minus 250 area, Illinois and Oregon. So I took the Illinois minus the 5.5, and then I took Illinois and Oregon in a parlay. So that's what I did with those teams. Next game I am on is this. Was it 2 p.m.? Let me see if I can actually do this in order. 2 p.m. South Florida versus Florida Atlantic. I took the over 152.5, minus 112, also at Bet Rivers. Florida Atlantic ranks dead last out of 364 teams, right? So they're the worst team in college basketball in defending opponents' three-point shooting. They're allowing teams to make 47.5% of their three-point shots in games. Now, 35, 36% of a team shooting 3 points is considered good. 30% is considered not so good. 36 is considered good to very good. They're allowing teams to hit 47%, a little bit over that per game. They do rank 43rd in total possessions per game, but South Florida ranks 237th in points possession allowed away from home. So when they're on the road, they're allowing those home teams to run the floor to make some points. But and to me, that bodes for an over 152. Both these teams don't play defense. Both teams run the floor a little bit. Their pace and tempo isn't that bad. I took the 152 and a half over in the South Florida Atlantic game. That's a 2 p.m. Eastern game. Next game I am on is at. I'll tell you that Memphis Rice game is interesting at 3 p.m. I don't know. Does anybody have any nasty eight? What's up, nasty boy? My boy Nate, who banging family. How you doing, man? OD, thanks for joining in, man. What's up, brother? How you been? So Evansville at Belmont is a 2 p.m. game, but what I was going no, actually it's a 3 p.m. game. What I was going to the South Florida is a 2 p.m. game. I didn't bet the Memphis Rice game yet. I'm kind of tempted to take Rice, but I mean they were plus 11 at one point. I think that the line might be going down, but this is a kind of a wait and see game. It's a kind of game I might be looking to throw something in live in this game. You know, Rice. What I found interesting was Rice ranks 52nd in allowing the 3-point shooting, and they should be able to slow down a Memphis team that's 5th in 3-point shooting percentage. So they rank good at defending the 3-point. If they can hold Memphis's 3-point shot down, which is closing in on 40% at home, like I just mentioned how good that is, there's a chance that Rice can even, I don't know about pull up the upset, but I can see them. I even took a look on VSiN. Sometimes I like to take a look at Greg Peterson's lines and see where they're at. He had this game at that he would bet it at up to +6. So that's pretty interesting if you ask me. Big O, what's happening? Yeah, I know he's questionable for Illinois. But he hasn't played in 2 weeks. So yeah, and he's coming back. So yeah, you can't really count that into the cap. And I really didn't because, like you said, and a great point. He's going to be limited to minutes and stuff. So let me get to the game I was talking about. Evansville at Belmont. I took the under 152 and a half minus 108. Evansville ranks 266 in the country in possessions per game. So that's not so. They play pretty slow. 361st in points per possession in games on the road. So when they're on the road, they even play slower than they do at home. The defense, the defense allows teams to shoot about 30% from the 3-point. So I mentioned the 30% before, how that's not a good number for a team shooting the 3-point. And that's where Evansville does hold teams down to that. And they're ranked 42nd in the country away from home, holding teams down to the 3-point. So to me, this game could be bet even under 150, 149, something like that. But it opened up at 153. I got the line at 152 and a half. So that was my second game, or actually my third game. The next game I am on is this West Virginia Cincinnati game. Man, I don't know how this game goes over the number. And I know it's low. It's 127 and a half, but I took the under minus 115. And there's another game that I went and checked out with the a couple different lines from a couple different people. I mentioned Greg Peterson before. He had this game listed at his total. He had it listed at 125 and a half. So under 127 and a half compared to his lines, projected lines, there's some value there if you want to look at it that way. But both teams are just slow teams. They're both ranked over 300th in pace and in tempo. They play that half court game, and when you play that half court game, man, the time just ticks away. It doesn't really bode for a team just lighten up the boards as no pun intended. But I think that helps with both teams playing that same style game. Both teams also offer several losses. And you know how coaches are. I mean, even I was when I coached my daughter in CYO basketball. When they would lose a couple of games, I used to make them really concentrate on defense. And that's something I learned from other coaches and stuff. And, actually something I learned from, be honest with you, from Jay Wright, because my daughter used to go to his basketball camp. So actually a guy I got to meet and talk to for a little while. And that was his game, man. Defense. When your team isn't playing good, that's the first thing you got down on is defense. And I always remember that. And to me, this comes into play with this. Offensively, they're both ranked, mid-pack, offensively. Cincy's ranked in the middle of the pack. I think it's in the 170s, 172, 173. West Virginia's about 100, in efficiency. So, not great, but not bad. But neither team ranks good at all. Here's a big discrepancy, and why I love the under in this game. The free throws. Cincinnati is ranked 354th in making free throws, and West Virginia is ranked 320th. To me, that's you're not getting free throws. You play slow. You do the half court thing. Offensively, you're no juggernauts at all. Like I said, Cincy in the middle of the pack. West Virginia a little bit better. Maybe West Virginia might not be bad as a pick for the with the points, but I took the under 127.5 minus 115. Those are the games that I took. Let me go over them quick again, and we'll just hit the chat for a few minutes. I got Evansville and Belmont under 152.5. I got South Florida at Florida Atlantic over 152.5. I got the Illinois minus 5.5. I got the under 127.5 in the West Virginia Cincy game, and I parlayed, which like value-wise, it sucks. But I took a money line parlay with Illinois and Oregon. I think both these teams bounce back. Oregon has beat me a few. Oregon was a team I was bragging on that I was hitting them at the beginning of the year. And you know what happens when you start bragging too much? You brings you right down to reality. And that's what happened with Oregon. They have not played well at all. But I think there's a game. First of all, they're back at home. And I just was worried about taking the point spread. I might take the points at the end of the game. I think they were -6 before I came on. But I just threw them in that parlay with Illinois. So those are the teams I got. Hopefully we get some winners today. You know how the weekend is. Saturday is crazy. Sundays, to me, I do a little bit better on Sundays. Saturday is always, hold you, and hope you get out alive. Like I said yesterday, crazy day. 11 of the top 25 teams won yesterday. There were some crazy games. I talked about the UConn game over that I won with the under 142. I was shocked. First 10 minutes of the game, there was about 30 points total score. In the first half they didn't even hit 50 points total. It was bizarre. I mean, I capped the game at 143.5. And I went back and forth with one of our friends who liked the over, but I really thought that game was going to be that type of game. Like either one of us are going to win by maybe a point or 2 or 3 points. I didn't think it was going to be that kind of thing. And then conversely, a game I loved, Vanderbilt plus 2.5. I didn't understand why they weren't favored, to be honest. And I did say that I would take them even at -1 yesterday. And they came out firing. They were up 15, 16 points with about 5 minutes left in the first half. And that was the end of that. They just collapsed. Oklahoma just really adjusted at the half. They cut the game down to 8 or 9, maybe at the half. I forget the exact score, but they were, like I say, up more than that, more like 15, 16. So Oklahoma did go on that little bit of a run at the end of the first half, but boy, did they make the adjustments. And they came out in the second half and just blew the doors off of Vandy. They won by 30 points. You were up 16 and you lose by 30. Man, that's basketball for you. It's more like the NBA than college, but man, that is something about that game yesterday. So that's just two of the, just two games that I capped and two extreme things happened. Like I talk about all the time. Sometimes you make the right cap and it's just the wrong result. Sometimes you get the right result, but it wasn't really the right cap. But that's why the luck factor is always involved. So you never get too high in those wins or the losses, because that's what happens. Let's see what happened today. Justin has Evansville plus 11.5 in your pocket. Yeah, I like that. I can see why you took that. I think it's going to be a little bit slower game. I thought that 152 was way high for a game for that game. So we're both in that game. Hopefully, we both pull that one off. He's also on Purdue Fort Wayne plus 4.5 and North Dakota State plus 2.5. So Justin has a couple good dog prices up there. 2.5 North Dakota State, 4.5 Purdue Fort Wayne, and 11.5 in Evansville. So good luck to you, Justin. We'll be on, we'll be putting out our picks. We try to put picks out almost every day during the week. Sometimes we don't because there's just not games we didn't bet. And one thing we'll tell you is that we're always betting the games that we put out. Sometimes I listen to some of these just to see what everybody how they do their shows and how they talk about their picks and stuff. And I'll tell you, some of these guys, and I'm not going to name names or sites, but some of the biggest sites that we all know about, um, these guys are putting games out. And they never mention the line they played. Like they'll say, I'm going to take Illinois today. I think they're, blah 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 blah. They should be able to, win convincingly, whatever the hell they say. And then they don't even put out the line they played. They don't put out the line that's current. They all do these games the night before just because they're more worried about content and viewership than they are about putting out the right play. That's how I look at it. I mean, I could be wrong, but I just don't understand that. And then there's some of these sites that are just completely AI generated. The voice is AI. The picks is just a computer pick. There's no variables involved. There's no recent things that happened. They can't really get into what happened in their previous game because they put the picks out so early. So you got to be careful with them. Not that I'm against AI, and AI is very useful, and we're using it. It helps speed up the capping process. I like that part of it. But when I'm just see the voice that it's not even human. They say the names wrong. They'll say like Marquis instead of Marquette. They'll make guys' names wrong. When it's just like a computer voice. I need somebody human tell me what the hell they're doing. I need to know if you're betting the game that you're betting. And that's something like I said. We always do, and we're not the only ones that only do it, obviously. But there are a lot of guys out there on some of these sites that not only don't they mention the line, they kind of gloss over it. They'll say, well, we suggest taking the over. The over what? Are you going to take the over at 150? Are you going to take the over at it went up to 160? You're still taking it? I mean, it's just something to keep after. This was one of my pet peeves. So instead of me rambling and gambling all day long, 1:00 we got this game at 1:00. Jumping off the Ohio State Illinois game. So it's time for me to roll it up. Let's see what we got. We got the old school easy widers today. And time to enjoy our Sunday. So thanks for coming in, guys. Dommy Gunrici here for Hoop Banging Sports Talk. We'll be back for our live. We got next Saturday at 11:00. And, of course, we'll be talking about the Super Bowl also. If we're going to probably have our boy Big Virg, who always joins us, especially when we're doing football-type things. And then after that, he'll be into the college basketball. I know he's been waiting for football to die down, and he just started his college basketball capping. And both of us are already starting to hit the MLB stuff. So, like I said, I'll be putting out some hot stove things before the season and things like that. So, let me get out of here. Love you guys. Thank you guys for joining us, and have a great Sunday. And like I said, Saturday, 11:00 a.m., we will be back. Have a good day.